Hello, this is Rick Mascaro, Executive Director at Lakeshore Center for the Arts in Westfield, New York. Welcome to our Reader's Theater presentations of the 20 semifinal plays of our Juicebox one-act play competition. Over the past 10 months, the competition has narrowed from approximately 200 entries to the following 20 semifinalist plays, including 10 comedies and 10 dramas. Each of these plays are being performed by the Lakeshore Center for the Arts Reader's Theater Ensemble. We hope you enjoy the presentations, and we invite your feedback. Judith, by playwright Robert Kehew.
Now, while I catch my breath, while my servant looks for a way out of this armed camp, let me speak. For hours I've kept silent listening to your proud boasts, pretending to marvel at your petty triumphs, stifling a yawn at your endless campaigns, all the while bursting with a tale that surpasses anything you had to offer. May I now get a word in? What's it about? My story. It's the tale of how a lone woman, vulnerable, unarmed, managed to enter a hostile enemy camp and there met and slaughtered its great leader like a bleating lamb. Why did she do that? Well, that part's easy. His army had laid siege to her city. He threatened to wipe out her people. Not much to explain there. No, it's the how she did it that makes for the amusing story. What? You want me to tell it to you, presumptuous head? Indeed, I've heard that in your country you're used to the women amusing their lords and masters nights while they reclined on cushions. But on second thought, it's not a bad idea. I have a few moments, and I do love a rapt audience. Very well, then. In the short time we have left together, I'll tell it to you. Comfy? Let's call it the story of Judith and Holofernes. Late at night, accompanied only by my serving woman, I left our grim city. We walked through ravaged fields. Then, a sharp cry. Watchmen appeared, arms at the ready. On foot, we fled Bethulia, doomed to fall. I'm prepared to whisper in one man's ear what our ruler intends behind those walls. A boy took off. The rest lowered their spears. Waiting, I considered how you might weigh these words. An artful ploy. But then again, there's always someone ready to betray the losing side. I'm sure you've met such men. Also, we were women. Surely no threat to seasoned soldiers, a camp bristling with swords. Weaker vessels, so I hoped you'd reflect. The boy returned. Let them pass, was the word. Midday, you called me to your tent. You sought to learn about our stores, the disposition of arms. Likewise, I probed for a weak spot. When I drew close, I heard your breath quicken. You rose, I stood. Then carelessly, as though you act on some whim, you said, "Come back tonight." With lowered lashes, I withdrew. Against this weakness, I would aim my attack. Wherein does beauty lie? What inspires men to lose all reason? The truth is, when a woman comes of age, she requires little but her youth to besot a man. That girl whose breasts King Solomon once praised as 2 young fawns was a mere slip. I suppose, though Solomon was considered wise, it was no chore for her to lead him by the nose. Still young was that fair rooftop bather who aroused King David's lust. She so enthralled that worthy that he'd stop at nothing to possess her. Nothing. Adieu, brave general. Fertility is the spark that beautifies virgins today as it once embellished Eve. Countless worship this force in many a guise, and this strange credence I could almost believe. Briefly, this goddess dwells in each woman the way the sun shines through the crest of a wave. Briefly, it lifts each generation, then just as quickly the life force rolls away. So with the young. But an older woman has served at life's altar. She's married, labored, known birth pangs. She's changed, and some might well prefer this wiser creature. To such I have been drawn. To some men, all our blandishments are in vain. Regardless of our age or beauty, we awaken no response. But why? It's men they love. No need to sulk. It's just their way. But I digress. Past my first youth, I presumed that I should show myself with the utmost taste, like treasure looted from some great pharaoh's tomb, not common goods to foist in the marketplace. Therefore, for you, my lord, my ravishing best, I'd smile, though you were bent on our enslavement. I called for my serving maid to bring my chest to gird myself for the night's entertainment. With subtle skill, she traced myriad lines of henna down my arms to draw your gaze, to catch and hold it in narrow confines like a bellowing bull within a maze. My hair, she wove in rivulets that leapt light down my back, escaping a loose chignon. A cataract within those treacherous depths, all but the doughtiest swimmers might drown. Around my waist, I looped a light cincture to show off my lithe form. I drew it tight, fit to hold an assassin's curved scimitar, bent on some bloody business in the night. With hoops of gold, my ears I bedizened, so that they glinted like the edge of a sword, like the signal flash from a dim horizon that warns too late of an approaching horde. My parted lips I painted with sure art, crimson like the issue of men who breathe their last in bloody pools on breached ramparts, gasping for a city already seized. Essence of musk roses to beguile you, distillations of myrrh to cloud your mind, make you dream of hanging gardens while siege rams batter the gates of Samarkand. So armed, I rose, and at the appointed hour approached your tent. Respectfully I kneeled, with eyes lowered, confident in my power to break and bind you to my chariot wheels. You bade me rise. I entered. Again I heard the intake of breath. You scattered cushions, plied me with dates and figs, poured wine. Your breastplate and sword hung by the bed. A nodding guard stood by. I smiled as you recounted a favored ruse oft used in war, to flee and then to fall on the unwitting host when they pursue. Was that not my planned maneuver as well? Then, sure of you, I began to work my wiles, methodically dismantle your defenses the way lovely Delilah, having beguiled Samson, shore off his lustrous locks by inches. I spoke in a soft voice to pull you in, give you the full effect of my mild charms. So David might have drawn the grim champion into range of his deadly, twirling arm. I caught your gaze and wouldn't let it go. Cold, dark eyes are difficult to resist. They freeze their prey like a hissing cobra or the pitiless glare of the basilisk. I touched my throat, drawing, against your will, your eyes to my soft breasts. Your gaze lingered on the space between, a path through moonlit hills, behind which armies crouch with drawn sabers. All these means I exerted to attract you, lull you, place you under my spell, the way a queen might use a prong to extract a snail's soft parts from its wave-beaten shell. Inflamed by lust, you seized me. I demurred, murmuring that we weren't alone. You wavered, black-browed, then clapped your hands, dismissed the guard. I didn't want the odds in your favor. Just then, the sound of oud and tabor rose on the wind. You bade me dance. I stood, well pleased. Graceful motions draw captive eyes to those sinuous lines that the serpent lent to Eve. From where a woman's shapely waist narrows to where her hips widen, the eye beams bend that blank towards which men aim golden arrows, that sea to which all rushing waters wend. Tinkling bells on ankles somehow suggest cooling waters that well up somewhere near. The movement of bespangled hips expresses hopes of nearby emperies to explore. You stood, swaying. I blew out all but one of the lamps and turned, loosening my garments. You fell on me. Another moment. We're done. I couldn't stand any more nonsense. Grumbling, you slept, your neck and chest exposed. I took your head in my lap and marveled at your throat's intricate workings, its lines like those delicate bones of a bird held by a cat. Earlier, I had admired your dagger. Now I slid it closer, haltingly, lest I wake you. You stirred, restless, again slumbered, your head at peace on my gently rising breast. At last, I hefted the blade. A dull light shone on the metalwork. A lion crouched supine at Ishtar's feet, shackled. To turn your own weapon against you was part of my design. And then I struck, cutting your windpipe. Only a single gasp escaped before you died, writhing. I listened, but all was still. Any who chanced to pass would smile in fond surmise. I'd straddled you to stop your thrashing. Now I dismounted as with a final spurt the lifeblood ebbed. Panting, I wiped my brow. My woman helped me with the butcher's work. And now I hear her returning. Now we must travel, my lord. I know you want to rest after our exertions, but you simply must come. You will speak most eloquently to my people. I anticipate a certain element of surprise tomorrow when I pop you out of my bag, and the sight of you hoisted on a spear tip should disconcert your army. We should prepare for a rout. Before we go, I must say our time together has taught me something about myself. I've learned that in my own way, I'm an artist. I have acted with elegance and economy. It's a pity that you, master strategist, were not able to appreciate this tale. Perhaps you will dream about it in your underworld, whatever that is. Now, a farewell kiss. Glory be to the God of Israel.
This has been a Reader's Theater production at Lakeshore Center for the Arts in Westfield, New York, as part of our one-act play competition. Visit our site at lakeshorecenterforthearts.com for additional information.